Please pray for him. I will, inshallah. Okay. Okay, we are ready now. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أما بعد حمد الله والثناء عليه والصلاة على نبينا محمد والسلام عليه. I want to start with a promise that there is a twist in today's dua. There's a spiritual twist and a surprising fact too. Okay, two things. So we'll start. Well, let me start with a question actually. A show of hands. Okay, we want to raise your hand if you're a father or a mother. So if you have kids, raise your hands. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. All fathers here? All mothers? Okay. Now, keep it up, please. I want to ask you this. If, since the beginning of Ramadan, you have at least once, Abu Nasser, you have kids, right? Yes, please. Okay. If at least once you've made dua for them, keep it up. Is this 100%? Okay, down now. Thank you. All right. If you have at least one of your parents still alive and well, please raise your hand. Okay. Now, if since the beginning of Ramadan, you've made dua for them at least once, keep it up. I didn't see any movement. So I think this is 100% too. Okay, thank you guys. All right. Let's assume someone does. Okay. Now, if you have made dua for a brother or a sister or a spouse or a friend at least once since the beginning of Ramadan, is this 100% of the room? Someone on their phone? Okay, that's the only reason they don't have their hands up. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Okay. So I saw 100% of the fathers and mothers make dua. 100% of the sons and daughters make dua for their parents, and then all of the people they've made dua. Okay, now nod for yes, shake for no. Okay. Have you always shared with them that you've made dua for them? Any replies there? Yes, no, no, no. All no's? Okay. Oh, yes? Yes, yes, okay. This is good. This is good. It's not bad, but it's what I wanted to get to, which I see like 98% of the room, they nodded no or shook no, as in they have not always shared with the people that they've made dua for them. What this means is that someone has made dua for you behind your back. Right? Someone has made dua for you and you don't know it. And so we don't know when that happened. Maybe you were working. Maybe you were cooking for iftar. Maybe you were posting on social media. No one knows. Someone made dua for you. Okay. Now this, maybe you have thought about it, maybe not. Maybe you've taken it for granted, but let's not take it for granted tonight. Okay? Tonight, so what this means, there is constantly someone is thinking of you and making dua for you. This is an incredible quality of our deen. I don't think any other deen or faith system does that. Even when you talk about, say, Al-Bukhari, and you say Al-Bukhari rahimahullah, you're making dua for Bukhari. Bukhari died more than 1,000 years ago. More than 1,000 years ago. And when you say Al-Bukhari, you say rahimahullah, you're praying for him. In our culture too, you're talking about someone who's dead and you say Allah yarhamu, or someone who is alive, you say Allah yasahhal alayh. So we're constantly making dua for each other. Okay, so this is one point. The other point is that now when you're in a bind, or you're feeling weak or struck by adversity, and sometimes you feel weak or alone, maybe you're not that alone. Maybe people are still making dua for you and you don't know it. Maybe when I'm working and then I get all this cluster of reviews that are going very easy, and I get my goals and numbers, maybe at that time my mom in Jordan after Fajr prayer is making dua for me. You never know. Subhanallah. Okay, let's move on. Now, let's play a little game. You're in a room, 4 walls, no windows, you can't communicate with the people outside. You're told that the next room, there's another Muslim. You don't know if it's a brother or a sister. You don't know if they're old or young, married or single, very wealthy or poor. You don't know anything about them. Okay? Now the game is, you make dua for the other person. You get to do one dua. You get to make one dua. If the other person appreciates it and accepts it for themselves, then they're going to make the same dua back to you, and Allah will answer it for you. What would your dua be for? What, Yusuf? It's not locked. Yusuf. Okay, so I heard Jannah. Would everyone agree? It is definitely the ultimate goal and the shared goal. Okay, right? It's the shared goal. We've been the reason I say this is we've been sharing all these du'as, and every du'a was for a specific need or a specific life circumstance, and you use them, and by all means. But then at the end of the day, you have this ultimate goal. You want Al-Jannah. Everyone wants it. And if you make it for the other person and they reciprocate it back to you, then you both are winners. It's a win-win situation. You want Al-Jannah. They want Al-Jannah. You don't know who they are, but you know they want Al-Jannah, subhanAllah. Okay? And I'll talk a little bit more about this, but I want to mention the dua and the twist about the dua. Okay, so the dua is رَبَّنَا وَأَدْخِلْهُمْ. I'm hearing a noise. Please, sisters. Or maybe the guys, I don't know. We're picking on the sisters anyway, but yeah. Please, guys, sisters, everyone. رَبَّنَا وَأَدْخِلْهُمْ جَنَّاتِ عَدْنٍ التي وعدتهم ومن صلح من آبائهم وأزواجهم وذرياتهم. I mean, what else can you ask for? Okay, I'm going to interpret the... So, رَبَّنَا وَأَدْخِلْهُمْ, رَبَّنَا, our Lord, وَأَدْخِلْهُمْ, admit them. This is the twist in the dua. You're not making the dua for yourself now. Okay? You're not making the dua for yourself. You're making the dua for others. رَبَّنَا وَأَدْخِلْهُمْ جَنَّاتِ عَدْنٍ. Jannat is the Jannah. Adn is perpetual, is everlasting, permanent, forever. التي وعدتهم, those that you promised them. وَمَنْ صَلَحَ, and those who are righteous. مِنْ آبائهم, their parents. وَأَزْوَاجِهِمْ, their spouses. وَذُرِّيَّاتِهِمْ, their kids. What else can you ask for? I mean, if you just memorize this dua and just go with it, and I'll explain how this dua will eventually come back to you in a moment. Okay, because you're making the dua for others, and you might ask, well, what about me, right? But we just established that other people are making dua for you already. Other people are making dua for you, right? So it would only make sense that you would make dua for them. And because of this hadith in Sahih Muslim, I've read it once on Abu Darda and once on Darda. Okay, but either way, maybe both the couple heard it and both narrated it. The hadith was, ما من مسلم يدعو لأخيه دعوة بظهر الغيب. Okay, any Muslim who makes a dua for their brother, that would be a sister too, بظهر الغيب, meaning without telling them necessarily. إلا وملك موكل عند رأسه, there's an angel right by his head, meaning that very close to him, coming there. موكل has a job, has this job. إلا ويقول آمين ولك بالمثل. Okay, so asking Allah to answer the dua and saying وَلَكَ بِالْمِثْلِ, likewise to you. Whatever, any dua you make for anyone else, the Malak says, Ameen, likewise to you. Okay. Now, let's move on. Let's go back to the Jannah. Okay, and I said, eventually, the things in life definitely, make dua for. There are many things in life that you want, or things that you want to protect yourself and your family from, and there are several du'as for all this, and we've been sharing this. Imam Aziz has been sharing with us. But then, why is it that I focus on this du'a and I focus on al-Jannah as in your ultimate goal? Is because the other circumstances are only that. They're just circumstantial. And there will be a point sooner than you would want that you will find yourself not really caring about any of this. Okay? And this, let's, I know, I acknowledge and I know that we don't really talk a lot about death. We don't like to think about it. It's not a very pleasant thought. When I talk to my wife about death, she just gets uncomfortable and she's like, can we talk about something else? So, but I want to talk about death. I want to talk about death. I have a few more minutes and I want to talk about death. Is that fine? Okay. And let's do something. Let's do a simulation, a death simulation. You guys cool with that? Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and I'm going to ask the people online too. Unless you're driving, please don't close your eyes, because you turn it from a simulation into a reality. We don't want that. Okay? Now close your eyes and try to feel and make this as vivid as you can. Okay? Now, you can't see anything. You can still hear, you can feel, you can smell. You're laid down on your back. Your arms alongside your body, your legs straight, you're wrapped up. You're totally wrapped up, even your face. You feel like you're laying down on what feels like a stretcher or a board. And then a group of people come closer to you, very close, and they say, Bismillah. And your body rises about 6 feet. And it starts to move with steps, with the people's steps. It's moving, and now you're feeling the outdoors, feeling the sun on you. And then you're feeling the vibe of the place, of the atmosphere is somber and serious. And then you hear the voices of the people very close to you. The voices, they're saying, yeah, let's go this way. Yeah, maybe this is better. Let's go this way, inshallah. And then the people farther in the background, you're hearing them say things like, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And then you get to a point, the movement stops, and your body is moving down gently, and then it rests down. You're smelling the soil. And now you're hearing people's voices, they're talking, and you feel like there's a lot of people around. You're hearing, you recognize the voice of Imam Aziz. He's giving a khatira. He's talking, he mentions you by name. And he's talking, and he talks about Allah and the angels, and Jannah and Nar. And he's making dua for you. And now you start feeling the hands of the people directly on your body. They're handling your body. and they rest it on your right side. And it's a little bit tight, and the smell of the soil or the smell of the dirt is so intense, it's very strong. And now you start hearing the thwacks and the thuds of shovels, and it's very loud, but you're still hearing people's voices from above, something you've never experienced. And you're hearing the shovels, and you're hearing the dirt fall on the ground, and then it becomes more and more shallow, and you're feeling more and more tight. And then the voices, they're starting to get muffled. And then even their steps, they sound different. They don't actually sound, they vibrate. And then a lot of movement above you, and muffled voices, muffled sounds. And then all this starts to die down, and the vibration starts to die down, and then quiet. Open your eyes. So, at that moment, really at that moment, nothing else matters. Although 2 hours ago you were thinking about all the things that we think about. Your investments, your money, the bills, the problems with your wife, problems with your husband, family issues, Ertugrul and the Mongols. You're thinking about like all these things, and all of a sudden, none of this matters. None of it. At all. There's just two things. Jannah or nar. And the weird thing is that we see this as a very far reality because of the illusion of our life. Because day in, day out, day in, day, and there are so many days. And you think that the days will never end, but they will. Because I promise you, the simulation that we just did together, this will happen for you. And you. And you. And you. It will happen. And we get squeamish from the idea. We just get like, we get very uncomfortable thinking about it. But it will happen. We all know it. But we don't want to think about it. We want to just push it away. But I want us to be ready so that when that moment comes, we've already asked Allah enough for Jannah, so that when it's like only this way or that way, it's only Jannah or Nar, we're ready. We have asked Allah Jannah enough. We've done enough for it. Inshallah, I mean, we'll only enter Jannah if we do with Allah's mercy. But we can try our hardest to earn it, and that's inshallah what we're going to do. And I'll just share. I'll end with this. Share something about other ways, like what ways you can do to really put this into perspective. Because again, it's a matter of perspective. You're going through life and you're not thinking about this, and that's an issue of perspective. But pull out your phone and pull out pictures from 2012 and look what you looked like. And you look very different. Or look at your peers, people who are your age, how they look. My peers are mostly gray-haired and gray-beard. Or you can think of the people that you've known that they're gone. They're not here anymore. I've known so many people who are gone now. So many people, family members, patients, even friends. They're just gone. And I'll share this about my father. He had a habit that he routinely practiced, because I remember seeing him do it countless times. There was this cabinet in the family room that my mom kept the china cups and plates and all, and it has two side mirrors, and he would come and look at the mirror. He would look at himself in the mirror and do this with his beard. And he would say, you will die, Ali Sartawi. You will die. And he did die. More than 20 years ago. And I still make dua for him. And I will continue to make dua for him until I go until I pass. And I really hope that my kids, Ali and Jude, will do the same for me. And I hope that you will be doing this for your parents. A little bit ago, Yusuf was reading Alia. She was making dua for her dad who passed 16 years ago. 16 years didn't change the fact that she's still making dua for him. And we can all make it a habit to make dua for the whole community. And that's what we'll end with. Just make dua for the whole community. Put it in your mind and make that dua. ربنا وأدخلهم جنات عدن التي وعدتهم ومن صلح من آبائهم وأزواجهم وذرياتهم. You're now making dua for all the community and their parents and their spouses and their offspring. And you're not leaving out anyone, inshallah. And imagine if every person in every community did the same. Every one of these du'as will hit you. And your parents, and your spouse, and your family, your kids, everyone. Every community, every person in every community. And what do you know? What do you know if like now we're now sitting, if people are not sitting in Algeria and making this dua, and they have us in mind, or people in Germany, or people in Malaysia, or in Jordan, making this dua. And since I mentioned my dad, I want to, feel free to join me. I want to ask Allah to have mercy on him, and I want to ask Allah to gather us with him in the Jannah. Allahumma ameen. Look at you. Let me ask you. How did it feel making dua for my dad? Does it feel good? SubhanAllah, you never met him. You don't know anything about him. Probably just the thing I shared with you. No one here has met him. Not even my wife, Noor. Not even my kid. No one met him because he passed away in 2001. But it feels good to make dua for your brother Muslim. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah, how our deen raises us to be. It feels good. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. And wait, I don't want to end this without making dua for my mom too, if she's watching this. If you know my mom, you know not to mess with her. So I ask Allah to give her the highest achievement in this life, and then the highest achievement in the afterlife, the Jannah, inshallah. Allahumma ameen. I ask Allah for all of our parents. I ask Allah to admit us to Jannah, and we would have enough time to meet all of our families and our parents and everyone, because we have all the time in the world. I'd love to meet all of your parents and your kids and their parents and their kids. Allahumma ameen. اللهم آمين اللهم آمين أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم قوموا إلى صلاتكم